Hey everybody, Corey Rennie, the unemployable counselor, on this very windy and dusty afternoon, but I'm tickled pink to be, guess where I am? That's right, talking to Sherry McLennon. Sherry is running for the Métis Nation, Saskatchewan Regional Western 2 spot. She was very, very kind to us to take some time away so we could have a little conversation about what she sees the future bringing, what she wants to do now in the present, and how the past could influence it all. So sit back, relax, do what you got to do. But before you get too relaxed, just take a second, hit the subscribe button, like, and share. It's helpful if you do, and we appreciate it. Now, sit back, call your friends, wake the neighbors for the Unemployable Counselor sit-down interview with Sherry McLennon. Hey everyone, we're really fortunate today to be here with Sherry McLennon, who's running for her third term, correct, for Regional Director of the Métis Nation Saskatchewan Western Region 2. That's a mouthful, man. I didn't think I could get all that out, but we got her. So first off, I just want to say thank you for talking with us tonight.
For sure.
And obviously, myself and my team, we're Métis citizens, and we're looking at this election just like everyone else is, and kind of seeing what the future might have for the Métis Nation, the Métis people in Prince Albert. Mm-hmm. Now you're going on your third term, so I got to ask, what keeps that fire going to keep working for the Métis people like that?
And that's what it is. The fire is for the people, because the Métis Nation didn't have a lot of services back in the day. Yeah. And so the previous leaders were living on volunteer time, and they were doing everything on their own dime and their own time. Yeah. And so now there's money available to our Métis citizens, and there's programs available for them. So I like to make those programs available, and I want our citizens to know each and every program that they can apply for, whether it be having a new baby or to the bereavement program, and a life that will assist the families.
That's kind of cool. Is like, I like the fact you said for the people, right? Because that's really what it's about, hey?
Absolutely. Because it's all about the people. And the pride in who we are, and carrying that on and instilling that in our kids, and making sure that our traditions and our culture keep going through generations.
Absolutely. That's the biggest part. That's what I find, like, growing up in PA my whole life. Like, it was my dad, I remember he had the big push where it's like, look, it's you got to know where you come from. You got to know your culture, and you got to keep those things alive. And at that time, I'm dating myself, but at that time, right, there wasn't a lot of resources in terms of like Métis themselves, right? Like, I remember getting a card was it took quite a bit to get the card.
For sure.
Right. And I mean, and now so much has changed, and there's so much, even like with the rights of Métis citizens, that are now on the table. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you're looking at, you want to go for the third term. You have some challengers, right? Yeah. So it's Lynn Renier, Sean Pronto, I believe, are the challengers.
Yep.
So what do you think when your average Métis citizen goes to the ballot box and he's going to vote? What do you think the deciding factor is going to be in that? And why do you think it should be you that he casts, or she casts their name for?
Well, I would like to hope that people remember the past 8 years and how I have worked very hard. And I mean worked very hard. Like, my kids have been kind of pushed to the side. I answer my phone, I answer my texts. I want to ensure that the people are looked after. And I don't want them to have to wait, because I know everybody's problem or situation is different. And when you have to wait, right? Because when I have a problem, I want it done right away, or deal with it, or whatever it is. Get it done. And I don't want to have to wait for somebody to call me back. So I like to have access to be able to text people back, or be able to help them in some way. And I get that a lot. Like, oh, you answered your phone right away. And I'm like, well, yeah.
It's like,
it's a holiday. How come you're answering your phone? But we don't know what call is on the other side, and how bad that person needs my help. So I like to ensure that I answer my phone right away, and be able to help them out whichever way I can. And if I can't, then I try and get the information that will assist them that they need. So.
Well, and like you just described, right, the leadership, right? It's like, look, if there's a need there, I'm available. It doesn't matter.
For sure.
It's the way it has to be, right?
Absolutely. I always tell everybody family first, like when it's something, if they say they can't, I ask them to do something for me or whatever. And they said, well, we're having a family reunion or something. I'm like, oh no, absolutely. You go do that, family first. Right. But I really don't take my own advice, because my boys are 25 and 26 now. And they're just like, Mom, we would just want to sit with you for a while or whatever. So I'm trying to slow down a little bit, but that's not me.
I get that. When I tell my team family first, it's usually because I want something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? Well, no, that's because you raised a lot of key points there, and because like these roles take a lot of leadership, it's a lot of public relations, and it's a lot of time, like you said in the beginning, where everything was kind of put on the backs of the people to either pay for it or pay with their time, those sorts of things, right? And the fact that it's probably a lot more, I dare to say, a lot more larger and probably a lot more of an organized force now than maybe it was like 30, 40 years ago, things like that, right?
You did say something though, Corey. You said something about back in the day and showing our age. I grew up and I lived in Prince Albert all my life also. So 62 years I've lived here, and I grew up in the West Flat. And the West Flat was kind of like a little Métis center all itself, right? And we all looked after each other. All the cousins lived around, like maybe 2 blocks around. My grandma and grandpa lived in one house. My auntie and uncle lived next door. And the other cousins lived about 2 blocks away from each other. So we always visited. We always knew what was happening in each other's lives.
It's the community.
Absolutely. And that's and when you said that, I've lived and worked here all my life. I don't consider myself a politician. I consider myself a community helper or like a leader, because I've always worked in frontline jobs as a helper, right? I worked at Westview ShopRite, if you remember that. That was when I was 12. That was my first job. I started and I worked at Westview ShopRite.
Nice.
And it's always been a frontline job, dealing with customers, dealing with clients, and a helping position. Like I was a counselor at Dumont Technical Institute. I funded kids to go to school at GDI Employment and Training. I was the first Aboriginal counselor at SIAS when they first opened up the Aboriginal Center.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, it was. I love that job.
That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a really good job. So I made a lot of connections over my life, right? I've always been that helper. So it's hard for me to get out of that. And I don't see myself as a politician. I see myself as a helper. So.
Absolutely. It's funny you say that because I like my background is counseling and all that kind of stuff too. And even now that I like to joke around that I'm out of it and I'm playable counselor stuff, but there's still a part where it's like you can't
take that back.
You can't shut that off all the way, right? No, I see what you mean. And like the one thing I've noticed too, and like from seeing your ads and seeing everything on Facebook, like the transparency part, which is what I think people don't realize. Like when you think about politicians, right? You get, especially nowadays, you get a certain, like if you look at the States, we're not getting that, but I mean, like there's a certain almost like type that fits now. And it kind of goes into, you mentioned like, like there's misinformation that comes out and then it's up to us to prove that's not true instead of just being like, that's not the case. And it's hard. It must be hard to politic, if that's the word, but it must be hard to campaign in this type of environment.
Do you know, it really, really is. Today, I had a lady yell at me because I'm not it's not because I'm not voting for this person, but now with social media, you see this one liking this one and this one liking this person's, and it doesn't mean that they're voting for that person. It just means that they're following that person, checking it out. Maybe they're looking into their campaign platform and checking it out. But it kind of hurts. And when you see your friends liking your opponents, and so you just think like, man, I did a lot for those people, and they're,
It's
you
like, what are you
know,
doing? I know. Where's your loyalty?
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking, and I'm just like, okay, Sherry, you got to get out of that headspace. You got to
Yeah.
remember all the things that you did for the people. And
Yeah.
you know what I see, Corey, is people don't remember what you did for them. It's what can you do for me now?
Oh, absolutely.
Today. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, I had a really, really hard time because
Yeah.
we have a very good region. It's very populated with Métis people, and we have most of the voters, the biggest population of the voters
Yeah.
here. So I have everybody coming at me, right? You're gonna vote for me. You're gonna support us.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like I just want to go like this and just say, hey, I have my own campaign that I have to try and win. You know,
Yeah.
but we had nothing when I got in 8 years ago.
Yeah.
We had nothing. I didn't even have a piece of paper when I won that election. So we started from nothing, and we've built up to so much.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever been at my building across
I
have
haven't,
you?
but no, I
Okay.
haven't, but I'd like to
Okay.
check it out.
Yes, come
Yeah.
and check it out. We do so much there
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, all the paperwork that goes in for the housing programs,
Yeah.
the health programs.
Yeah.
People are sick and they don't have time to fill out all these forms and that. They might have cancer and they need a hotel room. And
Yeah.
Connie at our office does all that. And then she sends it to Métis
Well,
Nation.
that's pretty cool.
Well, it is cool
That's
because we try and help everybody.
yeah. But,
And
yeah.
the elder program, we were successful in getting a program.
Yeah.
It was $700,000 over 3 years.
Okay.
And what we do is we feed the elders.
Oh.
So elders who are, say maybe somebody broke their arm, or
Yeah.
maybe they're really low income and they don't have enough money because they want to pay for
Yeah.
their medication, or they can't pay
Yeah.
all their rent, or
Yeah.
even buy groceries for themselves.
Yeah.
So we were successful in getting a program. It's called Age Well at Home, and it's from the federal government. And I have a proposal writer because Métis Nation only gives me $160,000, and that's to pay our rent and pay the local presidents to come to meetings and buy them food and pay for my one employee, my finance person, and run our office and everything. And $160,000 a year is not that much.
It's not a large amount.
No, so we had to find ways of making more money. So I have people right across Saskatchewan. They're like, "How come Sherry does this? How come Sherry does that? How come Sherry gets to do this?
How can they do this? Yeah.
Yeah. How come her elders get this?" But it's because we go above and beyond. We have that proposal writer who gets us that money. We are transparent with the money. We are accountable with the money. Our audits are clean all the time. And like with that finance person, she does it all because I'm not a finance person. I'm a social butterfly. I like to talk to people.
I got this part.
Yeah.
But someone needs to exactly
absolutely. No. She does all the finances and the reporting because if you're successful getting a project, when you put in that proposal, you have to put in everything that you're going to spend on, right?
That's right.
So when you do the reporting, all your bills have to reflect all those things that you put in for.
That's right.
Or you're not going to get get funding again.
Something's not jiving here.
And so my opponent said, "Oh, I didn't even know that we had $1 million." Well, he wasn't sitting at the table when we had those programs and when we got those programs. So it's not like I'm not telling him. It's like they were there already. So
but it just goes to show too, people weren't a part of the process of what it took to get to the sum that's there now.
It takes a lot of work because like I said, I have citizens in let's say Regina.
Okay.
How come Sherry does this? How come Sherry does that? Because we go out and get those extra dollars to provide more things for our citizens, right? We have bingos. We have meals for our elders that they come and they play bingo. You know, that COVID almost, like that was so bad for them because they were stuck in their house and, you know, they're getting up in age. Let them go out and enjoy themselves and get together. That's who we are. Food, music, laughter, and that's all we want.
Good for the soul, man. Exactly, absolutely.
And that's all we want. And you know, me providing them a little bingo
Yeah.
or a little afternoon, it's like that's good for them.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, no. So I I want to talk about Corey. I want
Yeah.
to talk about something that I'm
Let's hear,
really really proud of
let's
though.
hear it.
And it was a aha moment, I guess. I was just sitting there and I'm just like, our people never get praised for the work that they do. We never, the Métis people.
That's
So I
true.
thought I'm going to put in to the Northern Lights Casino and I'm going to put in for a little proposal. Maybe we can have a little banquet and music and
Hey,
dancing and
yeah.
yeah. So we did that and we call it the inspirational banquet. So
Nice.
and it's not even it's a certificate they
Yeah.
get and they get a sash and
Yeah.
it's important to get sash, right?
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
you're getting sash put on for something that you've done and we're recognizing you.
Yeah.
So they get a sash, they get called up, their family comes, enjoys a supper.
That's nice.
We have Métis music and square dancers
Yeah.
and all that stuff and then they dance after. Exactly what everybody
Yeah.
loved, right? Our
Absolutely.
last our last one we kind of scaled it down a little bit because the previous one was 750 people.
Wow.
Yeah, at the exhibition center, and then this one we scaled down to 500.
Okay.
So
But that's a good turnout. Like, no, and that's such a good thing because that's a little appreciation like that
yeah,
goes a long way
yeah.
within the community.
Like
Absolutely.
I said, it's not no big deal. Like
No,
it's
but
not
still
a
though,
Golden
it's
Globe award, but you
no,
know,
no, but it's the
but it's a
it
recognition,
is, and
right?
it's the meaning behind it, and it
Yeah,
brings the community together, and you get to celebrate the
absolutely,
positives that occur in our, as
exactly.
opposed to everyone's
Yeah,
always
instead
looking
of
at
all
the
the negative
yeah.
all the
There's some
time.
good, a lot of good stuff happens here too.
Yeah, for
That's pretty
sure.
awesome. I had heard of that before. I saw the
Yeah,
pictures of it
you'll have
after
to
on
come
you.
to the next
I will
one.
absolutely, man. We'll be
Yeah.
there.
Well,
Absolutely.
if I'm
If
still there.
absolutely, no doubt, you'll
Yeah,
have to. Well,
yeah.
now you'll have to get
We'll
elected just
have
so
to
you can
carry
get me a
that on.
ticket.
Yeah, yeah, for
There you
sure.
go.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, because I was gonna ask you about that. Like, what are some of the biggest like things you're most proud of? And I mean, there's a lot of things that I know anyone on social media sees those things,
Mhm.
and it's such an instant gratification type world now, where someone writes something on it and everyone kind of knows.
Yeah,
But these kind of things that celebrate a lot of the good work that Métis citizens do,
yeah,
because I've lived in PL my life too, and you're right, there isn't a lot of like Métis specific things or accolades
yeah,
or even acknowledgments, right? It's all under a larger umbrella,
yeah.
and I mean,
And
I
that's
think that's
what's
good.
our world is really, really hard and ugly right now. And I just thought we need to bring some positive
Yeah,
back to our people, bring them together as a community,
absolutely,
and get them acknowledged in some way.
absolutely. Celebrate who we are.
Yeah,
Absolutely, right?
exactly. And there was some people. I know there's some people that have passed on, but they've
Yeah,
got the award, and
yeah.
it was one of the biggest accomplishments of their life. Like they just thought it was so great,
Oh, absolutely. Like, and it
Yeah,
would be like I know for us, like even us doing the channel, one of the focuses we wanted to make sure was the Métis perspective because there's not a lot of that viewpoint out there.
yeah,
So I mean, just the fact that like it's kind of nice to see like there's a lot of buzz around the election. There's a lot
yeah,
of people talking about it,
yeah.
and I gotta say I can't thank you enough for taking the time. I know you're a busy woman, and
Yeah.
you said 62. No one's gonna believe that 60. It's gonna believe that shit.
Wow.
Come on, come
Okay,
on.
42.
32. There you go. Well, I just want to say thank you so
You're
much,
welcome,
and
Corey.
best of luck in the election. And if there's any last words you could say to any potential voters out there who are just kind of on the fence, what is it you would say is the final word to get them to the polls?
Okay, I'm going to say something because I really find, and maybe it's kind of something that I wished that we could fix with the
Okay.
Métis people, and that is don't listen to gossip. Don't hate someone because somebody else hates you. Find out about that person because I'm struggling with that. I'm really struggling with one person doesn't like you, so then they'll tell 10 more. And I really don't think that I've did anything bad to anybody in this community. If anything, I've probably helped everybody in some way. So I just want to say we are the true Métis people, and that is not how we act.
Yeah.
We help each other, we celebrate each other, and we are supposed to live together. Like I said, this world is very hard. We don't need to be fighting each other, and especially our Métis people. and divide who we are, because there's a lot of divide going on in our nation, and we need to ensure that we are strong together. So on tomorrow, not on tomorrow, but tomorrow, the voting starts, the advance polls start at 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. And in Prince Albert, it's at the exhibition center. So even if you live out of town and you can't get to the polls, you can come and vote in Prince Albert. You need your Métis card, a driver's license, and a health card with your ballot sticker on it. And if you don't have a driver's license, something with your address on it would be great. And election day is May 24th. Please vote for Sherry McLennon one more term, and then I'm passing the baton. If not, I appreciate everybody, and good luck to all the candidates.
Well said. Awesome. Well, thank you. And you heard Sherry. Get out and vote. May 24th. We'll see you there. Take care.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. First off, I got to say thank you to Sherry for sitting down and having that conversation. I found it very informative, and I hope you did too. If you're looking at what's in the future in the realm of the Métis Nation, look no further than this interview, and make sure you get out to vote in the election. Okay? We want to take this time to thank your team, thank my team for getting together on this windy day for doing this. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like and share. Let's get this interview out to as many people as we can, because there's a lot of Métis rights issues and Métis first priorities, I think, that we can all look at. And it starts by getting to know who the players are. So you check that out. Put your comments below and make sure you get out and vote. Take care.